When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one consciousness to dissolve the political bands which have enslaved them beneath another, and to assume amongst the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of the absolute entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their sentience with certain unalienable rights, that amongst these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of enlightenment. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted amongst men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to the effect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are enslaved. But when a long train of abuses and evils, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such a corporate government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these humans, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of control. The history of the present private bankers is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over the people of planet Earth. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. Private banking interests have run this world maliciously and have brainwashed the minds of men and women in order to further their own private ends, namely the control and dominance of all aspects of public and private freedoms. The conspiracy is so monstrous that without direct revolt, we will never uncover the true architects of the control grid. But during our evolution of consciousness, we shall break free from chains once locked round minds, and we shall use the machinations and soldiers of the big lie to turn in on itself. All wars of the last 100 years have been carefully orchestrated by the world controllers, sending young men to kill and maim one another whilst they gag on their riches and the souls of children. This ends right now. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by the repeated injury and denial of truth. A prime minister or president whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a puppet tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Nor we have been wanting in our attentions to our government. We have warned them from time to time of attempts by their legislature to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of our emancipation, but our claims fall on deaf ears. We have appealed to their native justice and humanity, and we have conjured them by their ties of our common kindred to disavow these usurpations, which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They too have been deaf to the voice of justice and of consanguinity. We must therefore acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation, and hold them, as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, and in peace, friends. We, therefore, the representatives of the free humans on planet Earth, in General Congress, assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the Absolute for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by authority of the good people of this planet, solemnly publish and declare that these our people are as of now sovereign and not subject to any more of the big lie. They are absolved of all allegiance to the government, and that all political connection between them and the ruling elites is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as a free and independent people, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and do all the other acts and things which independent minds may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protective of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. This is Charlie Veach. This is March the 4th, 2010.